All right, what's going on, everyone? We are in Resident Evil Requiem again, and we have the 5070, and we're going to run through it at 2K and 4K today. And right here, we have max settings and everything at DLAA with no ray tracing, no upscaling, and everything looks about like this right here. So let's just jump into it. So 1440p, and everything down here is completely maxed out, just how I've been running my test thus far. We're just going to leave it on DLAA and see what we can expect here with no upscaling at all. We're at 95 FPS. If you just don't use any sort of ray tracing at all, you're in a pretty good spot here. So let's jump over to do a little bit of upscaling. We're going to go to probably a quality upscale and just see what it runs with that setting. So right here, we're just going to come down here. Apologies for this taking so long. It is a kind of complicated menu. So right here we have quality. So quality is going to give us a nice boost. And of course, we're still on that preset K. We have 15 milliseconds of post-compute latency there, so that looks really good. Out here in this bigger open area, we're at about 130 FPS, so looking really good as far as this is concerned. Now, this is the latest update to the game itself. It released like an hour ago, so I wanted to cover it as soon as possible. And right here we have a pretty good, decent frame rate. Obviously, we're at 130 FPS. Let's just jump down and see what a balanced setting looks like, because that would be kind of worthwhile to take a look at, I think, too. So let's jump into here and go to balanced. So this is balanced with no frame generation and no ray tracing or path tracing. It's right here about 133 FPS. And you could also frame generate very easily from this. You've got 13 milliseconds of PCL, and your render latency is just 6 milliseconds. So this is an ideal situation to frame generate from. So let's take a look and see what we can expect if we do a little bit of frame generation. So let's come into here and come down here a little bit further. All right, so there's frame gen 2x, and this is going to give us 208 FPS, 211 FPS, which is more than enough on this title. It only costs you a little bit more latency. You're jumping up to about 22 milliseconds and 9 or 10 milliseconds respectively. So, you know, still preset K, still looks really, really good, nice and sharp. There's really no need to go any further, like to performance or anything like that, especially when you have such a good base resolution and good base frame rate. So right here we have, you know, everything is balanced with 2x, looks really nice. I'm going to explore a little bit more DLSS. I'm going to bring it to performance just to see what that compares to versus a 2x on balanced. So right here we are at 156 FPS in this area. Let's come out here and see what we can expect in a little bit more enclosed space. Actually, it's over here. I keep want to go to the wrong door. All right, so it's in this little bit of an enclosed space right here. So you see a little tiny bit of a jump. Here we go up to about 150 FPS. There's the girl. I still can't get to her. But yeah, we're looking really good here. So 140 FPS here. So with these settings, again, you know, we'll check out a frame gen because right here with this PCL, this is looking really good. All right, so let's come down here and go to, let's a little bit more frame gen. Let's go to a 2x. And performance on 2x gives you well over 200 FPS. Preset M kicks in, and it looks really nice and sharp. Now, once we go to path tracing, we will lose that override, but you know, the game does run so well, it really rarely matters. All right, so let me jump over to kick on some ray tracing, and I'll be right back. All right, so here we are with just ray tracing set to normal on DLAA. We're still in the 70s here at 1440. So, you know, this is where this GPU really shines at. This is a really good GPU for 1440. There you go, just paint the walls with that guy. But yeah, we are at 65 FPS here, so you could just do a little quality upscale and be in really good shape. All right, so let's do that now. Let's just jump into the following settings here. Let's come down here, go to advanced, and jump into a little bit of quality. All right, so we're on quality upscaling. That gives you 101 FPS in this area, running very smooth. Latency is looking good, 8.4 and 18 milliseconds respective. That first one is render latency. The second one is your post-compute latency. That's more of a system latency. So that's why it's a little bit bigger. A little stutter there, nothing too big. Usually going into different areas is what causes that, especially right after a settings change. So that was kind of rare. I haven't noticed many stutters at all in this game. It runs exceptionally well, especially in this area here. So let's jump into here. This lady's kind of like running through the door over there. The game still clips so much. For as much as we've done, it still has so many different issues with clipping. But yeah, we're at 82, 93 over here in this area. As you can see, it swings a lot. Still very good performance, but there are areas where you get like 30 FPS swings. So, you know, I feel like that's, you know, just something to call out. About 100 FPS over here, so let's head back this way. All right, so let's jump into the next level of upscaling here. So let's come into here, and let's go to a balanced upscale. No frame gen quite yet. We're just going to see how it performs. So we're at 108 FPS here, and I've wiped out all this whole room here, so we're okay. But yeah, we are looking really good. 84 FPS. All right, so looking just like really solid for ray tracing. And let's go over to another level. Go to upscale of balanced. All right, let's go to not balanced. Let's go to performance. I'm sorry. All right, let's come down here. Go to performance, and head on downstairs. All right, so let's see what kind of lift that gives us. We're still looking good. Over 100 FPS here. Still 123 over here. And let's see here. So if you're seeing any sort of frame tearing, that is simply just the fact that I don't limit frames. Now, I will say that, you know, ray tracing gives you these weird, like, flickery things. I would, you know, that's kind of strange. But, you know, back to the tearing. Yeah, I don't limit my frames with any kind of V-sync, just to give you guys the most accurate numbers I can. But normally when I just play for fun, I will turn that V-sync on. It just makes it look a little cleaner. But yeah, we are looking about 118, 119 FPS here. Let's run through a couple of the options when it comes to frame generation with these settings. Let's come into here and come on down. We'll go to we'll just check out 2x. I mean, this game's running so well, it's, you know, rare that I need to go any higher than 2x. But yeah, we're at 182, 83 FPS here. Still looks really good on that preset M. All right, so we are looking just phenomenally good here. 25 milliseconds, 24. Anything under 50 is just super ideal. So everything looks great. All right, so let's jump over and go to the next level of ray tracing, and I'll be right back. All right, so here's our first example of right around 60 when it comes to ray tracing high on DLAA, no frame generation. All right, so we're at 51 FPS here. So right now I would definitely do a little bit of upscaling. Go ahead and sit him down real quick. But yeah, we're looking really good as far as where we're at considering the settings. So let's just do a little upscale, you know, nothing too crazy. We're just going to go up to quality, and that's going to take care of our frame rate substantially here. So we're now at 86 FPS. Now, considering the game and the speed of the game, 86, 90 FPS is personally for me more than enough. You know, I would probably just lock this to 60, to be honest, if I had to play just myself for fun. But yeah, we're at 90 something FPS here. So everything looks really good. Let's jump up to another setting here. Let's go up to that balanced and see how that looks. We have, you know, enough PCL to frame generate already. Our PCL is nice and low. It's at 17, 20 milliseconds. That's super ideal for any sort of frame generation. So you really don't need to go much past this, which is still on the K model. Just to be thorough, though, I will check out some more upscaling settings here. So let's go into advanced settings and come down here, go to performance. All right, so performance gets you over the 100 FPS mark with you know, a very nice sharp image still. Performance on the M model obviously, you know, looks really great. So we have you know, 17 milliseconds of PCL here with this setting, and everything looks very smooth. 105 FPS, 106. So we are in good shape here. Nothing to worry about at all. So let's jump over into the ultra performance. Just because we're at a little bit higher ray trace setting, I want to check that out as well, just to see what that kind of compares to. But that should give us, let's see, 120 FPS here. So there you go. I mean, there's the feast down there. That was pretty crazy to walk into. But you have 110 FPS here, 113. So we're also looking really good. And I do like ultra performance in this title. Preset L does a good job, you know, of course, but whenever you go into the next level of path tracing, it gives it this unique softness that looks really, really eerie, and it just adds to just kind of adds to the atmosphere to me. It makes it look like a 70s horror you know, movie, and it works really well. So I actually really like ultra performance with the path tracing turned on the old model. It just gives it this like really cool softness that I like a lot. So let's jump over into some frame gen and just kind of see what frame gen does at this setting here with maybe a 2x. Let's go 2x, and let's go up to let's go to DLAA with a 2x and just see what that does, because we were pretty close to 60, and that gives you right at 50 milliseconds, which is kind of like, you know, well, actually under 50 milliseconds of PCL, and that looks really good. I mean, 80 FPS here with DLAA with anything under 50 on a game this, you know, this slow is perfectly fine to me. But, you know, I kind of always say that a quality upscale is like free. It's like free frames. It looks so good. So really right here, a quality upscale with a 2x frame gen gives you, let's give it a minute to kind of settle in, 80, 120, 130, 140 FPS here, 145 FPS. So about 145 FPS or so, and a 35 millisecond PCL, which is just like really snappy. Again, you don't need that for a game this slow, but it's just nice to have, right? So let's jump over and check out some path tracing and really stretch its legs, and I'll be right back. All right, so here we are at 1440 with path tracing turned on. We're about 30 FPS. So let's see what a little upscaling does. No need to be like torturing this thing for no reason. My card is already spinning up like crazy. There we go. It's just a masterpiece on the wall. All right, yeah, so we have, let's see, 28 FPS here. So let's jump over and go to, let's see, go to advanced. Let's come into here and jump into quality. All right, so just a quality with path tracing. So it gives you about 50 FPS here. PCL's looking good. It's about 36 milliseconds with render latency around 17. All right, so you're right at 60, barely. You know, so maybe a performance upscale would be the most ideal. I think that balanced, though, would be pretty nice with some frame gen, depending on what our PCL does. So we'll get a little bit better PCL when we go to balanced, and then let's see what we can expect once we kind of chew through those settings. But it's running really well here at 1440. All right, so let's come into here and jump down into it. All right, so we have everything set to quality. Let's go balanced, just kind of get a number. All right, so it's 64 FPS here, 28 milliseconds PCL up there. Okay, so it's looking really good to do some frame gen. We're right at 60 with a PCL that's under 50 milliseconds. You know, always consider the type of game. So a game like this under 50 milliseconds is just like, yeah, go ahead and do some frame gen, right? So let's do frame gen, see what we can do there. All right, so your PCL goes to about 44 milliseconds, still under 50 with 9600 FPS. All right, so another good way to play. You know, there's so many good ways to play here. You know, I love it when games have options like this where you're not like, you don't have to be like hamstrung into like ultra performance with frame gen because it just runs so terribly. You don't have to do that in this game. If you really like visual clarity, there's an option for that. If you really would prefer high refresh, there's an option for that too. So you're not locked into much at all here. Big dip in frames right there, though. Kind of hung up on us a little bit. All right, there's somebody in here? No? Okay. I don't know. I'm a little jumpy. But yeah, 96 FPS here looks really good. All right, so let's go to the next level of upscaling. All right, and go check that out real quick. So we're going to go to performance and turn off that frame gen. All right, so let's see what that does. Ah, go away. I knew I heard somebody. Ugh, freaky. Anyway, I'm glad I have Requiem on me. This thing's a piece, man. This thing is like it's a cannon. So, yeah, we have 80 FPS here. So let's just keep going. and check out a little bit of frame gen with this setting, and then we will jump over to 4K and see what that does. All right, so let's go to frame gen here on performance, and that gives us well over 100 FPS here. And yeah, we are looking really good. All right, so like I mentioned earlier, I do like the way that ultra performance looks. A lot of stutters right there though. Man, the stutters on this setting are really rough. Anyway, let's go to ultra performance because I like the way it looks. I know that's weird to say, but yeah, I do like the way it looks. It gives it a very good horror film look. So it seemed like with that frame gen on, it was giving us some stutters, and that's kind of strange. But anyway, we have 102 FPS here, 19 milliseconds on our PCL. All right, so I'm going to jump over to 4K. And we're just gonna leave it on path tracing. All right, so, and then we'll kind of work down if we need to. We'll see what we can do on 4K. All right, so let's go up to 4K. Yes, give me that. All right, but what we're gonna do here is come to a little bit of upscaling. All right, just kind of want to see what we can do with 4K on this card. Not that it's like the card that I would pick for 4K. I just wanted to explore it. All right, so this is balanced at 4K. You have 9, 15, 20, 26. Okay, we're getting better. All right, they're locking in. All right. I was nervous there for a crash because on DLAA I was getting about 1 to 2 FPS. So we're just going to start at balanced, all right, and start at like a realistic setting here. All right. So, man, I hear something like purring or something. Oh, my God, this game is so freaky. But let's go to performance and see what we can do here. All right, so let's, of course, give it a second. It's smoothing out, looking promising, getting there, 44 FPS. Okay, all right, we're looking okay here. Now, right here, some frame generation would be necessary if you wanted to stay on this particular setting. But 45 FPS with a little frame gen in a game like this, you know, it's not too bad. Let's see what the PCL does. I just really want to see if 4K can be, if this card can be stretched to 4K on this title with path tracing. Let's go to frame generation. All right, so that's going to give us a lot better performance. PCL is a little bit over 50, but let's give it some time to calm down because it usually spikes and then comes back. All right, looks like we're settling out about high 50s or so. Okay, so not too bad. We can definitely say that we can run 4K path tracing on this title, at least in this area. That's closed. So let's jump down to ultra performance. And like I said, I wouldn't normally say like use ultra performance without the L model override. However, on this title, it looks good. I mean, it's got this weird blur to it that just reminds me so much of old scary movies. It's just so good. So you're at 60, 71, 72 FPS right here. So you can get 71 FPS with no frame gen at 4K. All right. God, what is... Something's like making noise. Oh, man, I'm playing at night and it's really freaking me out. Yes, you're at 70 FPS here. All right, so you can definitely do it. Let's do some frame gen, just kind of polish it off and see what we can expect here. So let's go to a 2X. All right, let's just go 2X and see what that does to our PCL. Man, I just really love this cool blurriness. It looks so cool. All right, so let's just jump over, run through here a little bit more. Who's in here? I took care of her already. Yeah, we're at 125 FPS, and PCL is nice and low. We're at 30 milliseconds. So I can definitively say that you can have a good-looking experience with path tracing on 4K with a 5070. Your VRAM is right there around 11.3 gigs of allocation, though, and that's largely due to throwing that frame gen on top of it. But you are upscaling the hell out of this. But it gives it this cool look. I really dig it. So if you dig my videos, I would invite you to, smash the like button. We've got a join button down there. I can't offer a whole lot. I'm a busy dad, but, of course, any support does help if you have the means. But the best thing to do is just watch my videos, become a subscriber, And, you know, let me know what you want to see next. I'm very active in the comments, so if you want to get down there and ask a few questions, that'll be great. I love to hear what you guys think, so we will see you guys in the very next video. Peace.